You are Locked On Marlins POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Oh, baby, what is up, Fish fans? Welcome to your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. I'm a throwback. I'm vintage, just like my jersey right here. Mitchell and Ness, Lou Gehrig special. Hope you guys are enjoying your beautiful day wherever you are. I know I am, man. A lot of fun watching that game today. If you're a Marlins fan, the Marlins off the schneid offensively. They bust out the whooping sticks, and they win a big game in San Diego, 9-1. The final. Like I said, this is your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST. My name's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. First things first, I grease, freaks all the honeys, dummies, playboy. No, I'm just kidding. But I am not kidding when I thank you for making Locked On Marlins POSTCAST your first listen every single day. We're free. We're available wherever you get your podcast and on the YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. But today, our show is brought to you specifically by eBay Motors. And you guys know I love eBay Motors, right? What kind of car guy would you be if you didn't? From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to bring home that big win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit. Only available to U.S. customers. There you go. Our title sponsor at eBay Motors today. Seriously, though, really want to thank you for making this podcast part of your daily routine. We know you have a lot of choices. It's a lot of fun getting the instant reaction going right after the games here on YouTube and then the podcast as well. Really taking off the Locked On Network. Thank you to David Locke and Tom Lee and everybody for bringing me on board. Really getting things going here with your Locked On Podcast Network. We have Locked On Sports Today as well. Check that out on YouTube and on the Amazon Fire TV app. And it's just on right now with Locked On. And so I just want to be the first one to tell you, if you haven't heard yet, the Marlins finally unpacked their bats in San Diego. They had one run in the first two games of the series against the Padres combined. And today was a completely different story, Fish fan. 6 different Miami Marlins hitters drove in a run. Actually, 7 if you count the ninth inning, because they had an additional run in the ninth inning. How about this? Offensive outburst against the Padres. They beat it. Their ace, Yu Darvish, was terrible today. He was all over the zone. He was walking guys. He threw a ton of 60-something pitches in a couple innings. They killed the Padres 9-1 in the series finale. No, they didn't win their 5th straight series. They had won 4 in a row, 2 out of 3. This time they win 1 out of 3, but it's the last game of the series, and they head home with momentum to take on the Texas Rangers, and the Rangers have a pretty good team, right? But I'll tell you this, Miami Marlins fan, Josh Bell had a hell of a series, 6 for 11 at the dish. He had really struggled this season up until recently. He's been getting it going. And then in addition to Bell, you had Jesus Sanchez, 2 hits, including a home run today. Jazz Chisholm, Nick Gordon, Nick Fortes, each with 2 hits in the game as well. What am I missing? Anything here? Am I missing anything? Well, 2 runs scored for Bell, Gordon, and Lopez. No. Well, Bell was 3 for 5, and I have 3 for 4 in my notes, but he was 3 for 5. Anyway, Chisholm, Gordon, Fortes, 2 hits each. They score in every inning, the Marlins do, except for 3 of the innings, the 1st, the 4th, and the 8th. And Braxton Garrett goes 5 solid innings to pitch up the win. So run on 6 hits for him. That's it, a run on 6 hits for Braxton Garrett, the lefty with his 2nd win in a row. 4 Miami relievers, including closer Tanner Scott, combined to finish off the 1-run outing for Miami. Dominic Solano had 2 hits for the Padres to finish off an outstanding series at the plate for him. Padres are 30-29. Marlins are 20-37. And that's exactly what happened today. Just fixing a couple things. Bear with me as we go. There we go. Boom. Yep. The Miami Marlins really needed that, though, offensively. I'm going to get into that as we continue here on the show. Sixto Sanchez and Jose Urena will be the matchup on Friday. against Texas, but they have a travel day tomorrow. And you're begging at this point, if you're the Marlins players, right? You're literally begging the team management, hey, man, can we stay here just for the night in San Diego and go home tomorrow? Not going to happen. Not going to happen, but I think it'd be, worth a shot. It's worth the old college try if you're a Miami Marlins player. Say, hey, come on, Skip. We won this last game. We won 4 series in a row before that. We don't want to go back to Miami. I mean, you can't lose. You go back home or you stay in San Diego. But San Diego for a night in the Gaslamp District. And look, I know baseball players are all over the city anyway for the time that they're in town. It's the best sport to be a pro athlete because you're in a city like San Diego, like Miami, if you're not living here, and New York and LA and Seattle and all these dope spots, right? You're there for days at a time. And then you're at the ballpark by 4 o'clock every day, maybe 3 o'clock. So you get time after the games, you're experiencing the nightlife, the restaurants that are open late. You're really enjoying those cities. Whereas basketball, you might get a night here, a night there. NFL, forget it. You're in, you're all business, and you are out right after the game. And that's something that that I've seen enough times to know that if you're looking to have some fun and experience the cities, then you're not looking at any other sport but Major League Baseball. So anyway, they're probably right now heading back. I don't know if they're heading back tomorrow or heading back today, but we'll see what the Marlins do. They have the Rangers coming in town. More on that momentarily, but a good job by Garrett. He scattered 6 hits. When you only allow 1 run, you're scattering those 6 hits. I'll take you through the innings in just a minute, but a good game for Garrett. He had solid command, solid control in the zone as well. And they weren't able to get a lot of lift on him. He's a sinker baller when he's right. And so I like the way he performed today. I like what he did out there. I like the way the offense just got it going. And look, they had a bunch of hits yesterday. Well, they had 6 hits yesterday. They just couldn't get them going at the right times. A couple of games ago, couldn't get the big hit as well. One of the problems with the Marlins recently had been that they had been unable to get the big hit and break open some innings. Not a problem today. Not one bit. You'd prefer that it didn't come in bunches like it did today. You'd prefer they maybe, just scored 3 runs or 4 runs today in a bunch and said, hey, save some of this. We'll distribute those runs. We'll allocate those runs a little better game by game. Of course, I'm kidding. You see the big smile on my face, but you take what you could get in Major League Baseball. You go up to the dish every single time with the same approach every single time, with the same swing every single time, Lord willing, which never happens, but Lord willing, you the same swing every time. And, throughout the course of the season, you're working hard to keep that swing where it should be with the coaches and, obviously the individual work that you put in. And you're hoping that by the time the season's over, the law of averages will have led you to a decent year that allows you to make more money. That's Major League Baseball in a nutshell. And the Marlins today, though, did a really good job offensively against San Diego. You had Chisholm 2 for 6. Whenever you get 6 ABs at the top of the order, it was a good day. Drove in a couple of runs. Myers even he didn't get to hit, but he finished off the game in center field. De La Cruz 0 for 5 on the day, the only Marlin without a hit. Brian DLC, not a good day at the dish and not a good series at the dish for him. His average dipping under 250 down to 248. Bell goes 3 for 5, 2 runs scored up to 242. Sanchez 2 for 5 with a home run. He's up to 230. Berger 2 for 5 with a run scored, and he is up to 206. Barely above the Mendoza line, which he was below a couple days ago, Jake Berger. Remember, I told you that. Nick Gordon, 2 for 4 with a couple of runs scored, up to 230. Otto Lopez, 2 for 4, 2 runs scored, and an RBI, 273. Now on the season, Berger had an RBI as well. I had to point that out. Brujan at shortstop, 1 for 5 with a ribby, 2 RBIs and 2 hits with a run scored for the number 9 hitter, catcher Nick Fortes. Braxton Garrett goes 5 innings, 6 hits over 5 innings. An earned run, 2 strikeouts, 88 pitches, 56 thrown for strikes. Nice job by Garrett. ERA dips down to 4.56. Second consecutive, very nice start in a row for him. Maybe starting to catch that Uncle Mo a little bit. Bender goes an inning, 0s across the board. Puck, same thing, except he gave up a hit. Fauché gave up a hit and a walk, but not a run in an innings pitched. And then Tanner Scott lights out as usual in the 9th inning. Meanwhile, for San Diego, Yu Darvish went just 3 innings, allowing 6 hits, 2 earned runs. Walked 1, struck out 2. Quick hook. They brought in Kolek. He didn't fare any better. 3 earned runs on 3 hits, an inning and a third. And then an inning and a third for De Los Santos. He allows 4 hits and 1 run. Of course, speaking of Enyel de los Santos for the San Diego Padres, and they had Brito, and Johnny Brito pitched 3 1/3 innings, allowing 3 hits and an earned run along with the walk. So the Marlins they did strike out again a lot today with 6 strikeouts, but they scored off every San Diego pitcher. They did it in every possible way. They scored in every inning. Look, in the second, they scored a couple of times. They scored in the third. They scored in the fifth a bunch of times. They scored in the sixth. They scored in the seventh. They scored in the ninth. Just the first, the fourth, and the eighth that they didn't score. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier in the show, big day for the Marlins offense. Big day for Braxton Garrett. Big month, especially the second half of the month for this team. We'll look at what the Marlins offense did right. We'll break it down inning by inning and show you how they did what they did today. This is your Locked On Marlins postcast. The Fish get out of San Diego with a win. They lost the first 2 games of the series, but they finish it off strong today, 9-1 over the Padres. I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Step aside, pay a bill. Be right back with more of your Locked On Marlins postcast here on Locked On Sports Miami and wherever you get your podcasts. Oops, there it is. Okay. It had opened up the wrong spot for me. Sorry, guys. Frozen there for a second, just trying to find that. And there it was. All right. You ready? I'm ready. As long as you're ready. That's all that matters. Passion, drive, patience. The formula for winning championships. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. And eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. That's right, superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. That's right, with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you want and what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because with eBay Motors, and I tell you this all the time, you are burning rubber, not burning cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. All right, there you have it. eBay Motors on your Locked On Marlins postcast. All right, there we go. We had the wrong spot pilled up there for a second, but we got it covered like we always do. It's day in, day out. You day-by-dayers know that. Thank you so much for being here every single day. The stalwarts, the diehards, the fanatics. We love you. Locked On Sports, your team every day. Want to thank you so much for being here. Locked On Sports Miami, Locked On Marlins postcast, Heat, Dolphins, the U, and the postcast as well. And it's a great channel. So pumped to be a part of the team, as well as with Locked On Sports Today, which I really love this channel, and I'm starting to get addicted to it. You should too. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. That's right. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV channels app. There you have it. All right. Moving on with your Locked On Marlins postcast, 9-1 the final in San Diego. What a beautiful day, man. Watching that city. I love watching baseball games when they just always show the beautiful panoramic shots of the cities, beauty shots, as we call them in the biz. And I love it, man. It's just phenomenal. San Diego, beautiful city, great baseball town too. And the Padres have certainly captivated that place over the years and had some great Hall of Famers like Trevor Hoffman and Tony Gwynn. And man, just some awesome talent and players over the years in the Padres organization. And this team, no different, with guys like Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis and Profar's having a killer year. Donovan Solano, good Lord. I mean, this dude, the Marlins are happy to see him go, or to leave him, I should say, because he's not going anywhere. They are. But, man, just a nice way to finish off that series for Miami. 9-1 the final. I mentioned it earlier. Literally just about the entire team, everyone except and the players who started the game, everyone except Brian De La Cruz had a hit in the starting lineup, and everyone drove in a run except Josh Bell, of course, De La Cruz, and Nick Gordon. That's it. And Bell was 3 for 5 with 2 runs scored, just didn't drive one in. And Gordon, Commissioner Gordon, 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored, also did not drive in a run. So the guys who did not drive in any runs combined for 5 hits and 4 runs scored. It was that kind of day for the Miami Marlins offensively in San Diego. And then Garrett, Bender, Puck, Fauché, and Scott put on a masterpiece, throwing a combined, 101, 117, 140, 149 pitches combined for the Marlins. And, yeah, nice job by the pitching staff yet again as a whole. This was a team win. All the way across the board, a team win. You know what I'm saying? A team win. When you talk about a day in which everyone got a hit but one player, when you talk about a day in which everyone drove in a run except for 2 players who combined for 5 hits and 4 runs scored in spite of not driving any in, and then you have 5 pitchers combined on an 8-hit, 1-run victory, man, that's a nice day. That's a nice day. Everyone in that clubhouse feeling good right now. Everyone in that clubhouse feeling that they contributed. Everyone in that clubhouse laughing, joking, smiling. Look, you're feeling like you're all right. You're feeling like you're all right if you're the Marlins right now. I mean, look, you haven't – yeah, your offense has been bad. We've been talking about it day in and day out here on the show. You day-by-dayers know that, right? I mean, to go to 20-37, they got shut out yesterday. They lost 2-1 in the opener. Could have won that game. Luzardo got beat yesterday. Man. And then, and it was Ryan Weathers in the opener. And that was a tough one for him too, because Weathers has been great lately and he didn't take the loss, but, Luzardo did the next day. So now you're taking on a Texas Rangers team coming up next, and we'll give you some info on Texas, and we'll preview that series opener and that series as a whole in the final segment of the show today in just a few minutes, about, 3 or 4 minutes to be exact, when we wrap it up and get on out of here. But I'll tell you this. I'll tell you a lot of things. Keep watching the show every day. I'm sweating to death in this wool jersey. They actually wore these. This is Lou Gehrig's 1939 Yankees jersey. It's wool. It is the wool you had when you were a kid that you couldn't wash, that your parents never let you wear. And when you did wear that wool cap, it itched the hell out of your head so badly that you never wanted to wear anything wool again. Yeah, this is that shirt. But it's Lou Gehrig, 1939. So I had to. I went to the Mitchell & Ness factory in Philly in 2006 when I was doing a national radio show. We were in Atlantic City covering some fights. We went there to do a tour. We had the guy on our show on Sirius XM, and he said, hey, pick any jersey you want. This was the jersey I selected, 1939, Lou Gehrig. Aren't you glad you know that? Probably not. But anyway, I had to tell you either way. But when it comes to the Marlins offensively, you know what they haven't been doing lately. I mean, they just haven't been scoring runs at all. In the Mets series, one of those 4 that they won in a row, it was the second of the 4 before the Brewers and the Diamondbacks. But they scored 8 runs on May 17th, and they scored 10 runs on May 18th. Other than that, they hadn't been scoring at all, literally hardly anything. But in spite of all that, they had that 4-game win streak. They had won 5 out of 6. The end of the Philly series through the end of the Mets, and then you lose 2 out of 3. Last game against the Mets, you win the first one at Milwaukee, lose the second one. Then you win 2 in a row. Last one, Milwaukee. First one in Arizona, then you lose in AZ, win again in AZ, lose 2 in San Diego, now win in San Diego, and here come the Texas Rangers. And one more thing before we wrap up this segment, just want to take you through the scoring summary for the Marlins. In the second, it was Fortes with a double to center field that scored Nick Gordon. Also, Jazz Chisholm Jr. single to right, scoring Fortes right after that. In the third, it was a throwing error by the third baseman, Manny Machado, that scored Josh Bell. Nick Gordon was safe at third and Lopez safe at first on the throwing error, but they were left on base. It was Bell who scored and made it 3-0. In the third for San Diego, Kim Homer to left center made it 3-1. That was the one play of the day for the Padres, the one highlight, so to speak. Burgers single to center, scoring Bell. in the 5th, and then Lopez reached on an infield single to third with Berger scoring in that same inning, made it 5-1. It would be 6-1 in the 5th when Vitor Bujan singles to left, scoring Gordon. In the 6th, Jesus Sanchez homered to right field, 412 feet to make it 7-1. In the 7th, Jazz Chisholm Jr. tripled to center, scoring Lopez to make it 8-1. And then Fortes grounded out to third, scoring Lopez in the 9th to make it 9-1. And so many different players on this team driving in a run today. I might need to fix it in the rundown. Chisholm drove in 2, and so did Fortes. I'm definitely going to have to fix those on the rundown. Chisholm scoring or driving in 2, and Fortes. But it was that kind of day for the Marlins offensively. You lose track of who did what because everybody participated and did a great job in that lineup. Only one hitter without a hit, only 2 players who didn't score, or 3 players who didn't score a run in that line, or who didn't drive in a run in that lineup. But those 2 other ones combined for 5 hits and 4 runs scored. Josh Bell and Nick Gordon, even though they didn't drive any in. Braxton Garrett, 5 innings of solid work on the mound, and then it was the bullpen by committee. Leading up to Tanner Scott, it was Bender, Puck, and Fauché, and a big win for the Miami Marlins. About to wrap it up in just a second and get on out of here. It's your Locked On Marlins postcast on your Wednesday getaway day from San Diego. 9-1. The Marlins beat the Padres. We will wrap it up on the other side. But not before I tell you about FanDuel. It's winner take all time in the NBA and the NHL, and FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Ooh, that gets my blood boiling. I love doing commercials like that for companies like this, and that's a demo reel spot right there for FanDuel. You're welcome. Yeah, and thank you at the same time, for real. Gratitude will get you everywhere, and I'm grateful to be a part of Locked On, your team every day, and we are growing, building leaps and bounds with Locked On. We've just launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV. In the free Fire TV channels app, Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league on our dedicated channels. Find Locked On Sports Today available on the free Fire TV channels app. And one more time, I want to thank you for making your Locked On Marlins postcast appointment viewing, appointment listening every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, plus on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team. Every day, not just every day, every day. You know the difference? Look it up. It's called slang. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm having a great time here with you. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease, your Locked On Marlins postcast right here on Locked On Sports Miami and wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Music, iHeart, wherever. I don't know why I have a cell phone signal up on top of my screen, but it seems like everything's okay on this end. Well, either way, we are going to wrap it up in style. Your Locked On Marlins postcast. What a game it was. What a game it was. As you let me see if I got that right here. How many players drove in a run on the Marlins? Yeah, 6 players drove in a run. We got that right. We got that right. Yep, there we go. And then we just finish this off. Chisholm and Fortes had 2 RBIs apiece. There we go. Apiece. Bang. That's all we got to do there. And then we take that and we change that here. And we save it there on the YouTube. So now when you see it on YouTube, you'll be all right. And you'll see everything that we have all lined up for you there. But it was in the description. I just had to add that Chisholm and Fortes had 2 RBIs apiece because they did. And if you had 2 RBIs, wouldn't you want to have it be acknowledged by someone like me, I sure as heck would. 2 RBIs in a Major League Baseball game is absolutely incredible. As we wrap it up on your Locked On Marlins postcast, heading into the Texas Rangers series. Yes, this one here, the Rangers are a pretty good team. You know what I mean? They're 27-29, not lighting the world on fire. Jose Urena is 1-4 with a 3.53, though. Just a little bad luck for him. 30 strikeouts and 41 hits. In 43 in a third innings pitched, he's walked 14, giving up 5 home runs. Sixto Sanchez, he's like a 6 spot every time he goes out there for the other team, is what I've been saying. But Lord, he's 0-3 with a 6.25, 31 2/3, 39 hits, 17 strikeouts, 13 walks, and 2 home runs in 31 2/3. And he is a guy who I just don't understand why he keeps getting the ball every 5 days at this point. And I hope he proves me wrong. Meanwhile, for the Rangers, Corey Seager with 13 home runs, hitting .260 with 29 RBIs. Their offensive leader, Josh Smith with a .280 average, their leading hitter, and 37 RBIs for Adolis Garcia to lead them there. Of course, De La Cruz, 9 homers, Chisholm, .262, Chisholm, 29 RBIs to lead the way for the Marlins. What else do we have here? Anybody significant out for the Rangers or Marlins? Not that I see here. The Rangers hit .241 as a team, about 10 points higher than the Marlins. They've scored 243 runs, 41 more than Miami. Hit 59 home runs, 15 more. Let's see what their earned run average is, 4.10 to 4.6. And these teams have a 3-run series Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It'll be Urena against Sixto Sanchez. I just said that in the opener. And, of course, you can go on out and get your tickets and see the Marlins. Great seats available. Lone Depot Park is a dope spot. I mean, if it weren't built on the hallowed grounds of the Orange Bowl, which was the scene of some of the best moments of my life, I would feel differently about it. I'd love it even more. And I'm not just an old head hanging on to the past. I just miss the Orange Bowl. I wish they would have found a way to keep that there and redo that and build the baseball stadium right there with it. How about that? Dolphins, Canes, Marlins, right there in that spot still next to each other. Preserve the history, man. Too many stadiums are built in the outlying areas, and the suburban sprawl is just way too much for me to handle. Thank God. The best thing the Marlins ever did was move from the old Pro Player Stadium to Lone Depot Park, and I love it down there. I think it's great, and I hope you get a chance to head down there. All right, Marlins fans, that's going to wrap it up for us right here. 9-1 is the final. The Marlins beat the Padres in San Diego, salvage a game in this 3-gamer. They lost the first 2, scoring a total of 1 run. And today, they had 6 different hitters drive in a run, at least 1 run. They had 2 different hitters drive in 2 runs apiece. They had everybody on their team get a hit except 1 starting player. And that was the kind of day it was. 5 pitchers combining on a 1-hit win against the Padres. The Rangers coming into town this weekend, a big series for Miami. The Rangers just a little bit under 500. Sanchez and Urena in the opener. Weathers and Trevor Rogers. Ryan Weathers and Trevor Rogers back-to-back lined up for Saturday and Sunday. First pitch at 7:10 p.m. Friday night. We'll be here right after the game with your Locked On Marlins postcast. And then Tampa Bay comes into town for a 2-gamer. Luzardo and then Braxton Garrett, who went today, will get the ball in the first 2 games of that series. And then hopefully Sanchez won't in that series opener against Cleveland on Friday, June 7th. One can only hope. He gets the ball tonight, Friday night, 6-0 Sanchez. The Marlins win this game today, 9-1. They beat the Padres in San Diego. That's all there is, Fish fans. There is no more. Love you, Mad Dog. The Marlins go on the road and beat the Padres 9-1, actually ending a road trip on which they took 2 out of 3 from Arizona and lost 2 out of 3 in San Diego to finish the trip at 3-3. A 500 road trip, not all that bad against these 2 teams in the grand scheme of things overall if you're a Marlins fan. Keep your game tight and your mind right, baby. We are